Welcome back to AZ Off Grid. We are still up at the Off Grid property. It is Friday, April 19th, 2019. It's just after 1 p.m. I didn't record anything yesterday like I said I was going to. I got pretty busy and it didn't. A couple things frustrating me on one of the projects I was working on, and I wasn't going to stop until I figured it out, and I did. But it was like 9:30 at night by the time I got it all figured out and finished up out here. So all right, let's take a look at the concrete that I poured just the other day. It's looking pretty good. Yep, it's coming along nicely. Those are solid as a rock. And I'm going to backfill that with dirt and some of the rock that's laying around here. So all you're really going to see is just the tips of these. All right, so something I started working on about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm doing an entire video on it. It's going to be a long video, I'm just letting you know, but it's a step-by-step how-to, including materials. This is my new battery box. As you can see, it's out behind my power room. Let me show you real quick. I got all of my batteries out of here, as they should be. And I built this massive box. It's fully insulated, including reflectix. Top, bottom, sides, everywhere. It's pretty heavy duty, and I have ventilation at the bottom and at the top. I have 16 batteries in here now. Just to let you know, my 1,000 watts of solar, just 1,000 watts had these batteries in float by 12:30. So I had a guy at a solar company tell me once that I had way too many batteries for the amount of panels that I have, and they'd never get to a full charge. But clearly that wasn't the case. So the first video I put out a couple years ago on off-grid solar power, I think I started out with 6 batteries, and I still have those batteries here. I put the oldest at the front and the newer ones towards the back for in case I need to replace these sooner. Can't see. So these are my original batteries. These are the oldest from 2015, and then I had these other 4 that I had bought in 2016 for a total of 6, and that worked out okay, but I use a lot of power. If I was just a simple off-gridder and just used, you know, lights and stuff like that, TV occasionally, those 6 batteries would be just fine. But I do a lot more than that out here. Pretty much run everything that you would run at home except for my AC. I could probably run the AC on that battery bank now, but I'm not going to. It doesn't really get hot enough up here for AC. In the summer you just hang out in the shade and it's not too bad. Okay, so yes, I'm doing an entire video on how I built this. It is, like I said, it's a long video, but it's going to show you exactly how I built this and with what materials. I made all my cables. I went with 2/0. Before I only had 2 gauge, and there's a huge difference between the size. So everything's 2/0 now. I still need to put some heat shrink on some of them. As you can see, I ran out. My cables going to the power inverter, originally they were 2 gauge as well, not big enough at all. So as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, that's a pretty thick cable. That's 4 gauge, or sorry, not 4 gauge, 4/0. I went with 4/0 cables for my positive and negative out to my charge controller. I also installed a couple of outside outlets, one on either side of the power room. And I installed another one of these awesome lights, LED motion sensor lights. These are amazing. And then I put in a light switch and a light. So you can see how massive these cables are. They're just huge. I love them. I don't think I'll ever need to go any bigger than that. Okay, so the big reveal. Well, one of them was the battery box. That was one of the projects I was working on. The other, I don't know if you can see it in here, it's a little dark, is this. So let me get closer so you can read. Yes, this is a system for a wind turbine from Missouri Wind and Solar. It's not a cheap system. I got a 1600 watt wind turbine, which I haven't put together yet. I was waiting for the concrete over here to dry so I can stand the whole thing up and then put some tension on those guide wires. The wind turbine itself actually isn't that expensive. It's this cluster on my wall here. This is like got everything that you need for wind all on one system, and it came like that. They make them like that. That thing is expensive. I think I mentioned in a video about a month ago where I said something big is coming or something like that. I did not buy this system. It was donated to me graciously by one of my subscribers. He contacted me out of the blue and said he wanted to do something for me, and I couldn't believe it. I could not believe him, and I didn't say yes right away. We went over it a bit for, I don't know, a week or so, and then finally I just agreed to it. I'm not one to take things for free. I'm not, you know, I have a job, I make money, I can buy things, but I wasn't really in a place where I was ready to do wind yet. And if you've watched my videos, you know we get a lot of wind up here. This is a place for wind. In my video I did day before yesterday, where we had no sun all day. It was raining and cloudy all day, and my battery bank really didn't get much of a charge, and it was getting low, and I tried to use my generator and it wouldn't start. But it was very windy that day, that evening, all night long. So that is a perfect example of why wind is a great complement to solar. Even in Arizona, where we get more sunshine, I believe, than any other state, even more than the sunshine state, Florida. Even here, you need more than solar, in my opinion, at least in my application, especially up here with all the wind. Actually, most places in Arizona get quite a bit of wind. So that's why I had to get more batteries, bigger battery bank, because clearly the 1600 watt wind turbine system and my 1000 watts of solar wasn't going to be enough for the 10 batteries that I had, so I bought 6 more. These are very cheap batteries, you know, relatively cheap compared to like Trojans and some of the others. And so far they've done pretty good for me. I haven't had really any issues with them, and these are 4 years old, these two, and they're still cranking away. So I'm very happy with them. And for a starter system, you probably couldn't go any better, I think, if you're trying to be careful with your budget. So that's why I had to upgrade the battery bank, and those wouldn't fit in that room anyways, even if I wanted to put them in there, which I shouldn't, because these emit what do you call it, hydrogen gas. So they shouldn't be in there with all those electronics. So that's why I had to build the battery box. All this kind of came about with that the phone call from one of my subscribers. He kind of got the ball rolling. Because I wasn't going to do any of this right now, but it's okay. It's something that needed to be done. My cable sizes on my batteries and my inverter, they all were the wrong size. They were too small, and it was something that I've been wanting to do. I just kind of needed a little kick in the butt, you know, to get going. But I'm glad that this all came about, because I got a lot of stuff done that needed to get done. So all right, so the way this is going to work is, this is the center point where my pole will be going up, my wind tower. Okay, this is 20 feet right here. I've got another 10-foot section laying over there on the ground, and I have couplers. So I'm going to try to do the 30 feet. This thing gets a little shaky when it's getting long like this, when you pick it up. Even though it's heavy gauge, it's the heaviest gauge pipe I could get at Home Depot. So, and it's really heavy for its size. But I'm going to try to do the 30 feet. So this is going to have a large bushing that goes through here with a large bolt, and it's going to go through my wind pole, and that's going to be basically the hinge or the pivot point. And then there'll be another one down here which will lock it into place once it's standing up. All right, I have these brackets that I got from Missouri Wind and Solar. They're nice. You don't probably need them. You could probably make something yourself, or find something at Home Depot that'll work just as darn near as good. But these were already made for this application, so I decided to get them. They were cheap. They were like a couple bucks each, but they allow me to attach a bracket anywhere along this pole. And I got two of them, so I'm going to put one about 15 feet up from the bottom, and then another one about 3 feet from the top. And that's where you anchor your cables, and that's what these holes around us are for. And as you can see, in each of these holes I have 2 eye bolts that are in concrete. So the furthest one back is going to go to the top of the tower, and the one closest is going to go to basically the center point on the tower. And I have turnbuckles and everything. I got all the cable to make everything. The only thing that I'm worried about is trying to stand this thing up on my own, by myself. So I have a little hand winch, and I also have a come along, which I'm going to try to use to stand this thing up. I also have another pipe here and some couplers. Where's it at? I bought this one, but I meant to get a different one. I meant to get a T, but this is just an elbow. That's going to go at the bottom of the pole, and then that pipe over there is going to screw in here, and while it's laying down, that pipe will be standing straight up. But it's going to have a cable going from the midpoint on the pole to the top of this pole here. It's called a gin pole, and then it's going to go down to my winch point, and I'm going to use that to help me upright this thing, pivoting on this point right here. It's just it's a way of using leverage to stand something like this up, supporting the bottom and somewhere along the top. So I'm going to try to do that. I'll probably do it tomorrow if I have time. I'm leaving here tomorrow, but I'm going to try to get all this done before I leave. If not, that'll be another video. And then the wire just runs from the turbine through the pole, down the pole, and I'm going to dig a trench, and I have conduit here, and run it all the way to my power room. It's just regular It's wild 3-phase AC voltage is what it is. So the distance isn't really that big of a deal. You could use an extension cord. So, all right, that's pretty much what I've been doing lately. It's kind of a big deal here. It's going to make a huge difference, and hopefully I won't have to use that generator much at all. One other thing I did is I have an extension cord that I have wired into my power inverter that I plug into my inverter, my generator, to charge up my battery bank when it's getting low. And that cable, I've always had to run it out the door here to my generator, which usually sits right here on this pallet. And then I have to close the door and kind of use this 2x4 to push against the door to keep it closed while it's windy out here, because it won't close all the way with the extension cord through the door jamb there. Well, oops. I took this yellow cable, which is that cord that charges the battery bank. You can see it goes into the inverter back there, and I ran it through some conduit. And don't worry guys, I'm going to clean all this stuff up, but it comes out and goes out under here. So now I can technically set my generator underneath the battery box here in case it's raining or whatever, and I could run it there if I needed to, just to keep it out of the weather. Or if these aren't very loud, but I mean, if I really didn't want to hear it at all, I could just plug it in over there and it'll work just as good. So, all right, that's what I've been doing. That's the reveal. So, I don't know if I'll be posting this video tonight or tomorrow. We've got some neighbors coming up today and some other neighbors that I haven't seen in a long time. He had some medical issues and couldn't come up. But also, in the future, as you can see, the washer and dryer is no longer sitting there on those pallets. They're actually inside the cabin right now. I'm going to build a small washroom. It's going to be sitting on top of these little concrete piers. It's going to be completely mobile. I'll be able to move it. It's going to be an 8x8 room, basically. Basically the same size as my laundry room at home. I'm basically modeling it after my laundry room at home. It's going to have the washer, dryer, and the refrigerator that's in the cabin, and this deep freezer in it. Sorry guys. Just temporary. It's all temporary until I finish what I'm going to be building over here later in the future. But it's going to sit over here next to this power room, and I'm probably going to build another one of those stands and have another one of those totes back here for the washer. So that's going to be in the future. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I priced it all out. It's going to cost me probably about $1,200, and that's being conservative, to build the entire thing, excluding paint. I think I didn't factor in paint on that. So, but everything else, including the trim and everything. So that's going to be in the future. I don't know when I'm going to do it or have time to do it, but it's going to end up going right here temporarily until I'm going to build this out further in the cabin. I'm going to build it back here, probably go another 12 or 16 feet with it, and then I'm going to build a large carport over there where my little Harbor Freight tent carport is on the other side of the trailer there. And then towards the back of that, that's where the washroom, I believe, is going to end up going permanently. So there you go guys, that's what I've done. I think today, well, right now I'm gonna eat some lunch because it's getting kind of late, but I'm going to let's see, after lunch I've got some other things I got to do over here. I got to put some flashing up over this door because As you guys know, this is an interior door and it's gotten warped quite a bit. Here, I'll show you. So when this thing is closed, it looks like crap. You can see the top is buckled out. So I took measurements on it and it's an odd dimension. So I can't find an outside door, an exterior door that's really this size. So I'm probably gonna have to build a door. If I remember right, when I put this door in here, I had to trim it a little bit on the sides. Yeah, I did, to get it to fit this opening. So even this door didn't fit, but it's wood and laminate, real easy to cut, but it's not made for outside, so it's getting weathered. So I've got some flashing, or what do you call it, Z metal. I'm just gonna put up over here for now, temporarily, just to keep the water from going down inside there, until I can build a door for this thing. And then I'll explain it more in my battery bank box video, but I didn't have this come out far enough because I thought I was going to be closer to the power room. So I bought some more sitting over there. I'm going to add some more on the back of this to have it come out a little further, just to keep the rain up out of here. But that's about it. And then after that, my neighbors should be up here and we're going to be hanging out. So alright guys, that is probably going to do it for today. If not, I'll update you guys later. Alright guys, take care. Okay, so one other thing I forgot to mention. I did a video about 3-4 weeks ago about how to revive a dead battery. And in that video explained how I took an old car battery, this one right here, that had been sitting on my garage floor for 4 or 5 years and was at very, very low voltage. I forget what the voltage was on it. It was ridiculously low. So I used this battery charger, which is a charger and maintainer. Schumacher, picked it up at Walmart. I used that. It took about 3 days to bring this up to a full charge. And then I did my video, and I had a bunch of people say, not a bunch, but a few people say, oh, it's probably not going to hold a charge. Wait till you put a load on it. So I didn't charge this battery until today. Since then, it's been a month, almost a month. I did use this battery to run some light in here about a week and a half ago. I had it running for about 2.5 hours. No issues running the light. I checked the voltage on that battery this morning, and again, it hasn't been charged in over a month, and I've used it for a couple hours and it was still at 12.6. So I know a light isn't a huge load, but it's still a load, and over 2.5 hours without even charging this thing for almost a month. So I think it's safe to say this battery is working just fine. I've just got it in maintain mode right now off my battery charger, which is plugged into the wall here. Just keeping it up to full charge. So yeah, I think that battery is just fine. Again, I'm going to end up running the 12 volt water pump that's going to feed my washer once it's over here. That's what I'm going to use. So, and I'll probably just leave it hooked up to a charger in maintain mode. It's basically a trickle charger, you know, just keeps it full. So I'll probably end up doing that just to keep it charged. Otherwise, I technically have the old Harbor Freight solar panel system that I got in there. I could set up somewhere over here and charge it that way. That'll charge that battery just fine. So, all right, that's what I wanted to show you. All right, guys, take care. Hey guys, it's the next day. It's Saturday, April 20th. It's about 6:45 p.m. The sun is just about gone. I've been working on this all day, pretty much all day. Let me show you what I did over here. So I was able to get the 30 feet. I did need the help of my neighbor to lift it because I didn't have the cables figured out yet. I'd only had them attached at the anchor points on the pole up there. I don't know if you can see them. But it was pretty heavy. I got underneath the pole at this end over here, and I started walking it forward from underneath this way, and I got to about right here. That's as far as I could go. It was getting too heavy. My arms started shaking, and you know, they were up over my head. So I carefully laid it back down and got my neighbor, and he helped me. He ended up pulling on the end of this gin pole here, and that helped out a lot. Made it a lot easier to stand this thing up. So it just took a while making all these cables. I bought spools and spools of cable, and I made all these cables myself. So it took some time getting down a system to do it, and once I got a system down, it was all right. I started putting reflectors on, as you can see here. Most importantly though, the cables. I put reflectors on the cables so somebody isn't you can see them, these little guys right here. So if somebody's out here in the dark and walking by, they don't clothesline themselves. So wasn't sure how I was going to attach these, but I lucked out. They come with a wing nut and a lock washer. I just turned the wing nut around. I don't know if you can see it, but it just barely clamps onto the cable. Worked out pretty good. I still have to do 4 more cables with the reflectors. Probably not going to do it right now because it's getting late and I have to get out of here. So, yep, I got it all up there. These cables are nice and tight. I couldn't get the wind turbine mounted onto it today. It was just way too windy. Earlier the wind was like really cranking. It was even, before I had these cables tightened down, this thing was just standing up by itself just from the base here. And it was swaying a little bit up there at the top. It was getting me a little nervous. I'm sure it would hold it, but the wind was blowing really, really hard, so I couldn't mount the turbine today. It's just not safe to do it in wind. So I will do that the next time I come up here. And what I will probably do is this cable here. I will probably winch from that one and the one up at the top there that comes down here. Probably set up right here and just winch them down to here, and it should stand right up. Should. We'll see. I don't know if my angles, I didn't do the math on this, but I don't know if my angles on these side guide wires will allow me to keep them tight like they are and just lay the whole tower down. I don't know if I can do that or if I'm gonna have to release these side guide wires. Not sure, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do 30 feet just because, I'm sorry guys, it's getting windy again, just because of how tall it is. I mean, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's pretty dang tall. It came out really nice, I think. I like how it came out. So I'm going to do a full basically overview video on this whole setup, what I did, how I did it. Pretty much did it all by myself. This hole right here, I did have the help of one of my friends. Of course, I could have done it myself. He was just here, so he helped out. and I needed help standing this thing up today because I didn't have my my cables ready to winch on it. But now I should be able to do it all by myself. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, yeah, I'm super happy with the way this turned out. That's all the hard part. The easy part now is just attaching the wind turbine at the top, putting the wire all the way down through the pipe. This gin pole is removable, it comes off. And then I do have to dig a little bit of a trench that goes over there to bury my conduit, but not a big deal, you know. Anyways, I got a lot of cleaning up to do over here, locking up, cleaning up, and I got to get out of here. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if I can get back a little further so you can get the whole thing in the picture. So I don't know if you can even see it. I can't see it on the camera, but hopefully you can see it. Anyways, that's the whole thing right there. It's pretty nice. I like how it turned out. Super impressed. One other thing, I was also a little concerned about how much tension was going to be on these eye bolts down here, and believe it or not, it doesn't take a lot of tension to tighten this pole up. All of these turnbuckles are just hand tight, so just by hand tightening them, this thing got real sturdy real quick. So I might have to go a little bit tighter once I get the wind turbine up there. The wind turbine weighs, I don't know, probably about 40 pounds, 35, 40 pounds, something like that. So just imagine 35 or 40 pounds at the top of that pole there. But I think it'll be just fine. Anyways, super happy with the last 5 days that I've been here. I've got a lot of stuff done that I've been wanting to get done for a really long time, and I just super productive. Had a great week. It's been really good. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me this time. Again, you guys, let me know what you think. Any comments or questions, just let me know. And if you got anything that you can add that might make this a little bit better, without me taking this whole thing apart, just from where it stands right now, let me know. I'll be glad to hear what you have to say. So, all right, guys, that's it. And hope you guys have a good evening, a good week, good month, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.